Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I will be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. This story has been requested by channel member Yumi-chan, so let's get into it. Perhaps walking alone in the middle of the night was not the smartest decision you've ever made. But then again, maybe it was not the worst one, considering the other things you've done in the past. However, you felt a particularly bad feeling about this one. You had forgotten something at work, and you only went back to retrieve it. And by the time you were on the way home, it had gotten much darker than usual. And you always went through that alley to get home quicker. You certainly did not want to walk too long in the dark, but the alley seemed much more dangerous. However, both options were not exactly favorable. You had only hoped that you would be in and out very quickly, and you wouldn't need to worry much. But maybe you had been a little bit too hopeful and foolish, because 2 minutes in, and someone had put their arm around your neck. A knife was being held firmly to your throat. "Empty your pockets," was all they said. And you were frozen in place, trying to just balance your own breathing, because you did not want your throat touching the edge of that knife. It was terrifying. And 2 minutes ago, you never thought things would actually go that badly. And you just wanted to go back in time so you could walk the other way. Or even just never go back to work and retrieve that thing. You would have been well without it. Do I really have to? I really need that money. I'm really not that rich. How about you just rob someone else? You say. You don't know where the courage manifests from, but it quickly dissipates when the knife nicks your throat, and you gasp, deciding to nod and empty your own pockets instead. Your life was valuable, more than your own money, or anything in the world, and as you were handing the thief everything you had, you heard someone else come in. They were not sneaky, their footsteps loud, imposing and demanding. And when you turned your head, you couldn't really see that person's face. But they were menacing enough, and they had that aura about them that simply screamed danger, and you were terrified even more. Was that person their accomplice? But if that were the case, then why would the thief be scared? The questions in your head were merely stopped by something. And it was the thief fleeing. As soon as the person who was marching towards you too summoned the keys in their hand. And soon, the person walked closer to you. You were trembling, frozen in place. Were you saved? Or were you just in danger again? You had no idea. But soon the person's face came clear to you, and you realized it was a lady. And she seemed quite dignified, although with the coat on her back and the rather unusual encounter you had. Maybe there was something about her you didn't know. Thank you, miss, I suppose? A chuckle followed your words, and Arlecchino smiled. You're welcome. Excuse me now, but I shall go deal with him. As for your name, may I know it? Oh, of course. I'm Mayan. Pleased to meet you, although it would have been better if it was in different circumstances, but it's good nonetheless. She smiled at you, offering no more words, and leaving. And that's when you decided that this was it. That was the end of your day, because you were not going to have to process anything after that. And also you realized you did not have her name at all. But in the morning, you knew you didn't need to. There was a letter delivered to you at your door, with Arlecchino's name. Yes, that was her name. And with her thanking you for pointing her towards that person. You had no idea how you pointed her exactly, but you had a feeling you shouldn't ask. And there was also something rather interesting, an invitation to meet her once more. And wouldn't you just be delighted to meet your savior? So you did. You went to the cafe and decided to just see how it goes. She looked a little bit more different, less blood on her hands, and less menacing, although she was just the same, in more ways than not. And so you started to chat along. She told you about the House of Hearth, and her being a Fatui harbinger. She was being very upfront, and although you had your own suspicions about the Fatui, you couldn't deny that she helped you and saved your life, and your wallet. So you couldn't really be mad at her, or suspect her of anything ill. It's not like you had anything of use to her either. So there weren't any ulterior motives. And you decided that maybe, just maybe, befriending a harbinger could not be that bad. So, Miss Arlecchino, if you would be able to, and you have free time, could we please meet again? She smiled, holding your hand gently in your own, careful not to scratch you with her nails. I'm glad you asked. I was just about to say the same. You know, you have quite an endearing personality, Oyan, and I would like to see more of it, she said, and you blushed brightly, smiling. Oh, well, if you say so. I would be glad to see more of your own too, although there isn't a lot that I know about you. She smiled, and she looked so mysterious in that one moment. Her eyes, which were always so striking and bold, looked into your own. I would suggest you don't try to know everything in one go. There is always time, and I plan to meet you more than once. You're quite interesting. Like I said, you're quite endearing, and interesting too. She mumbled, and you couldn't help but laugh softly, shaking your head. I don't believe so, but if that gets me to meet you again, then so be it. I'd be happy to be interesting for you. And so as she got up, she leaned down, taking your hand in her own and kissing the top of it. I'll see you again soon, Leon. I'll see you, Arlecchino, you say. And that one moment, when she left, you were not truly whole, no. She had taken your heart and mind with her, for you could not stop thinking about her for as long as you were away, and until you met next. And little did you know, the stoic Arlecchino had become too interested for her own good. And somewhere along the way, she too fell in love.